with this product yet, but it is live because we are using it in a private mode right now. So when we come to install it, you can follow the instructions of how to install it here. So I'll just give you a quick example. When we go to knowledge base and quick installation, I want you to see what I mean here. Is it talks about how do you install the product, right? So if you sort of preview that, it talks about, well, go to the marketplace. You log in as a Jira admin, go to search, just find our app. You'll see it there. You just try it for free, and install, and you're ready to go, and you're done, right? Then you configure it, and you'll see a welcome page, and that's it. That's the setup. So I think what is the key thing for what we're pushing out? Where we're using now, we are using Jira to manage our roadmap, and we have release 1.3, which is targeted for June. So if you can see here very quickly, look at all the dones, right? There's been a tremendous amount of work being put in to develop task stories, fix defects, and so forth. So I'm not going to bore you with all that, right? But how we're managing right now is being very much focused on releases within our epic, the main epic, which is release 1.3. So kind of like, and I'll go through this very quickly, and then we'll talk about what's happening next week. And I think the nature of what I want you to do is to use these meetings to sort of learn, to help us steer and direct what the future releases are. And we'll start with that now, like, getting off. But I want to sort of cover off when we start to formalize things. We worked on release 4th of June, which went live officially, obviously last week. And I want to sort of go through what that looked like for everyone to sort of have an idea. So we included things in last week, which is the folder tree, having the ability. And maybe for those who haven't seen Vansah very quickly, if you want to install Vansah, you'll see on the left-hand side as a product, you'll see Vansah at the top of each issue. So if you click on Vansah there, you'll be able to see all cases. You can link cases, you can see your test runs, you can run a report, right? Because we don't have a lot of time. I want to keep this quite quick and ensure that we move forward with focus on what's coming up. I just wanted to let you know very quickly that that's the sort of experience, right? You can link. So when you get a link, you get to see, well, where's your folders, right? You're probably familiar with all these folder structure that you have. This is just in test, that your test cases might be here. So with a quick example, these are 2 test cases. I want to link them to this issue. So I simply just click on link. There you go. Then I can close this view and I'm back here. So this is my test cases. That's the experience, right? We have that priority. Now, what's really good is that the priority here is all inherited from Jira's. This is what I meant earlier. Let's focus on what we do best. Let's not develop a priority system management system. And that's what we want to do. So we're now utilizing Jira's priority management facility. So if you come to edit this test case, you can see all these priority is all from Jira, right? It's all Jira. So if you change those values, or if you change the icons, the colors, we inherit that, and so forth. Let me just go through this very quickly. I think I might need to do this. Is that some of the tools that exist out there that have ability to associate and link a test case to an issue, you'll find that their linking is very limited. So with our linking process, we actually do a proper search, so you can see all your issues in across your projects, right, and the details of it. So that's how straightforward it is. You get where I'm coming from, right? So we have that ability. If you need to then, in that test case, open up that issue, you can. So that's the experience we want. So that ability to do that, the history. All of this here is all maintained. The test case, the description that you're familiar with Vansah, right? So, we can obviously take screenshots, embed that in here, resize them. They're all continued, right? It's not like just a text-based system. It's not that at all. So you can do all of that. That's the experience that you have with test case management. Now, obviously, the script is just as important. So we have all of that, a step and expected. So we have all of that experience now for a test case as well. And again, we can paste screenshots, right? That's the experience we needed and we maintain. So all of that is being continued with Vansah and will only get better, okay? So where was I with this is that that's the sort of stuff that we did with the linking, is the ability to see the repositories and so forth. But where does this come from? You probably ask. Well, where does that manage? It's not here. it's obviously managed in Vansah's dashboard, which is appearing on the left-hand side. So Vansah as a dashboard is what you're probably used to, which is the Vansah, the asset management, test case management. So at the moment here, you can search, you can do anything you want, like you would search for test cases and find. You can search test cases by the issue. You can search test cases by the type. And from here, you can see I'm searching for functional, but if I was searching for API, it would use that keyword as well with the search, right? So if I move that out, I will then should be able to return those cases. And now the repository was what I was saying, the key release was for us to be able to manage and add test folders, right? So if I'm saying this is a test folder, right? Yeah, you can create a match. That's your, I don't need to train you on why you should structure test cases in terms of folders, but that's entirely each team has their own reasons for why they do that. We obviously understand it's important for reasons that we use as a practice at test point, but others will do it for potentially something for some reason why. But clearly, whenever you move into these folders, you can easily find them when you're linking the Jira issue. Okay. Very clear. I'll move forward very fast if I can. If you have a view or log, you can do that here. You want to clone, you can delete, you can do all this sort of stuff from directly from here. So any assets, any screenshots, any issues is all done there. So you probably had a very quick overview of things right now just by looking at. You get an idea, I guess, what we've built here. So it's not just a little simple solution. It's quite what do you call it? Advanced as it is. So before we go live, we had some mixed opinions that we'll go live with very, very minimal solution. We said no, minimal is not good enough. We need stable and we need a rich feature set that would be enough to ensure that test point as the minimum, our staff could move from current Vansah to no longer have any dependency on it, to be migrated. If we want our customers to use it, we need to use it ourselves. That's the direction we've taken at test point. And if we want customers to use it for their teams, we need to be able to use it ourselves and have full reliance on it, and deliver at the pace that we deliver and maintain that quality assurance that customers depend on us and use us for. So hence why our push to give this product everything it needs, right? So clearly linking issues can be done. So you can link all these test cases even from here. So I search, right? I'm just going to search for any issue. I don't know what I should know what our issues are. Let me just say import. I know in this project I should have something to do with import. Yep, I'm going to import and link them, right? That's how it is, and they'll get linked. It might be an issue.
Yeah, I have to check, Fatty, but that's a new feature included in this screen. It's not released to the production yet. So that's halfway, actually.
Good response. All right, well, we'll get there. Thank you for that, Yamina.
Yeah.
But clearly, as you can see, we are sort of expecting that this would be fully functional before we give it to our clients, right? That's why we're doing this. But anyway, where was I going with this is going back to our release. And I wanted to sort of go back to that release that I was talking about, that we released here, 4th of June. So the things that we released in this year was just quickly include a folder tree. So that was that link issue I've covered. We've improved a lot of performance. So we discovered that the performance it was taking to open up a test case was, it wasn't acceptable. And Fernando, you were quick to pick up on that, I should say. And we gave you the excuse that, it's only a performance issue for the first time. But after that, it caches and it gets better. But now we don't have that problem because we have moved everything to the proper infrastructure, and it's that whole caching is all automatic regardless. And to other things like headline and hovering over, we needed some improve the ability to add test cases. So that was the key thing from last week. This week that we released already, we had some issues with some authentication issues. We've introduced searching ability to search by using the letter C, which you probably can see here. When you look at Vansah, everything is labeled as C1, C2, C3. So, we want to maintain that visibility to distinguish it. This is a test case so that you can still search, however, so we weren't able to. Adopting this is an important one, again, from community, hence why it's so important that we are, as a community, we listen, and we listen to the community, and we encourage you to give us the features, is because one of the requirements was that if we have an issue and we would like to create a test case of that issue, then we should maintain the priority from the original issue. So we weren't doing that, right? So if I was just to give an example here, just a test example. Sorry about that. I have here. We wanted to have the ability to ensure that the test case, the default priority, is maintained and not lost. So testers, as you can see there, don't have to then go back and work out the priority. They can change it. So that's some of the things. Again, it's demonstrating the integration, the native integration with Jira. And we will do more than that. So we're working on labels and components and so forth. So if you have components that are set against this issue and you create a test case, then you'll inherit those straight away. Where was I now? So that's the key thing that we added, that adopting that and removing. So we did some R&D, and we wanted to have a test plan. So it's probably a really good point I want to sort of cover the next 5 minutes on, because it's a very commonly used area, and I used it yesterday as part of and I'll demonstrate that here, right? As part of what we were thinking originally is we have what we have now is test case management, right? We all can see that, and you link test cases and you run reports, and the report is based on the tests that are linked to this issue. What is the report? And we were originally talking about creating a different view, which is called the test plan view, and that would mean that you would need to define what the issue type was, and if that issue type was equal to epic or even called test plan type issue, then Vansah would behave differently and start to function as a test plan. And the whole benefit of that is, and it's something quite brave of us to do this, to be honest, to say, because now I have a tool that I've heard of or tried, and I've been doing a lot of research to sort of give that ability to say, well, look, if you have an issue, an epic, which is the common thing that's used in Jira that people use to manage epics or any issue type, and you need to know the actual report, the test report against all the issues, child issues, linked issues, whatever they may be. You need to know the status, the test status report against all of them within one issue. How do we do that? So what we've done is, and I'll do a demonstration here, is that we not only can do a report against, like I said, the actual issue itself, if you had test cases, which we don't in this case, but can we do a report against all the linked issues? And yes, we can. So that's been a really big achievement. So right now, as an example, it says 0%, zero coverage, no test cases, nothing, because this issue 203, which is what we're opening here, has no test cases against it. But surely there's got to be a better way, right? We can then say, well, let's look at all linked issues. We can select one at a time. Or no, let's look at all of them. And let's look at all child issues, if there are. In this case, there's no child issues. But let me run a report now. And that's what we used to determine if this particular release that we worked on the 11th of June was ready for production. And it was. It gave us 100%, 23 out of 23 completed. No, the fail rate is all 0. Pass rate was all, here's what it is. Now, obviously, I can see straight away now that these issues had no test cases against them, right? Well, none, because we hadn't built them, but we're still building the product, and we never had these features in the product when we were trying to do the testing. But right this moment, we know that for next week's release, we will have all the issues in the release, all the stories, what do you want to call them. We should have some sort of test case metrics against each one of these, right? So that's where we are right now, okay? And the key thing for us, give me a second, guys, just getting a bit of a distraction here. Better turn that off. That's the key thing for us right now. So we're not going to be having a issue type dependency to determine if we're going to do a test plan report versus a issue-based report, right? So we said, let's incorporate it all into one. So the flexibility is there. So we were talking to a respected client, one of our really important clients that we're working with right now, that has 120 people in Vansah at the moment, the current Vansah. And the way that they're managing all their issues in Jira is they have epics similar to what we have, and then they have a release similar to what I have here. But they use the release to determine what's in and what's out, and they can work out the status of that issue, against that release. But they have no visibility very quickly or very easily as terms of, based on those linked issues, the child issues, what's the status? What is the test report status? And they're moving things in and out. So you got to realize they've got to make decisions quickly, especially if it's a weekly sprint or a fortnightly sprint, whatever the sprint is. You need to have that visibility. With this in place, it's a check. There's no excuse anymore. So we have that confidence. It's only going to get better. So that's the summary of that particular, why we removed it. So we don't have dependency on an issue type being called something specific to do test reporting. We now apply that across default. So that's a big thing. And that's probably nothing. That's just more of a issue number. But that's the main release we did this week. That's gone live right now. Right. So the other thing is very quickly that this week has been very much focused on is the importer. We know that at some time we're going to have a massive migration exercise to bring data into our projects, right, into the necessary project for our customers, for our client, for ourselves, and whatever it may be. Or more importantly, we want to then, let's be honest, we want to help customers move away from their current systems, which is they may be using tools and they need to move data. So the importer has been quite a amazing improvement to our product. And so the importer now is that you can download a sample file or you can select a file. I have so one here is an example. It's not just a simple importer, it's quite a advanced importer. So if I give you an example, it checks for the file, it looks for what are the files in that, it maps them. It also validates the values in the priority if it's accurate, if it is a value that you have in your project, because you could have priorities that don't match Jira, so it would error. If you have linked issues that are not the right issues, it won't allow it. So if I go import, I think I'm going to get errors here because the file I know is for a different project. And again, it will say you've got 15 errors here, invalid issue. See, there's the issue. It's called TBSB. This project is not that, it's a different project. So it will list them out for you until you need to fix it up. Because obviously we really want our clients to be confident that the data they're going to bring in is going to be according to their Jira system, the data in their Jira system. So probably a very great service offering we're going to be doing is from TestPoint side, we're going to be helping clients migrate into Atlassian by providing a service to ensure that we can take all their artifacts, wherever they may be in spreadsheets or different systems, and bring them into the necessary template to then import the data so they can have all the traceability, the data, and everything into Jira. That's the move, and that's coming in the next. It's there now, but that's going to be an offering that we're going to start advertising from TestPoint. So that's going to encourage many clients, as you can imagine, to say, well, you know what, these guys can do this, and they have a product, and they have this solution, and they can help us. Well, absolutely, it's a win-win. It's end-to-end. Let's do it. But for us to be prepared, we need to have advanced importer, and the future features to introduce for our importer is beyond just headline, priority, description, and issues, and it's the whole lot. It's components, it's labels, and more importantly, it's steps, expected results, and all that for that right reasons, as you can imagine. So that's the big features, these big tickets this week. And I guess for the sake of time, because I do want to hear from everyone what they've got to think about, is what's happening next week. So next week we're still prioritizing right this moment. We're moving things in and out, but every week we will be talking about stuff. So next week is hot on the hot is for me is Fernando, who's working on our update of our Selenium framework, right? So it's been working in progress. It's to align to ensure that you can automate your test cases with the results to appear in Jira against those test cases. So for that to happen, it's a Selenium framework, and that framework is now another brave thing that we've done, right? So if we say GitHub, and I encourage you to the example of what I mean, this here, you can see that we have created a public repository, so for GitHub, so anyone can see the changes we're making to our framework, and they can check in, they can access the data, they can do whatever they want, because this is all about automation, Selenium, and we want to encourage the community to also Yeah.
Sorry for it. There is also a tutorial. If you go a little bit below, if you just scroll down, we put a kind of a tutorial how to start a new project.
Where's that? Is it here? Is it download? Or is that? Oh, this is it, right?
No, I think you need to change the branch. But anyway,
that's okay. Yeah, it's got a lot of.
In main, go to main. Yeah, main.
Yeah. So
that's the one.
Yeah, beautiful. So this is the stuff that will make its way into the community page, but also here. But that's going to be, and that's what we're going to be. Obviously, anyone who's automating in Selenium could utilize this information because they need to, right? They need to know how to integrate it into Jenkins, and I encourage that everyone maybe look at understanding that, and we can at this point, we're more than happy to support all that for that nice, exciting stuff. But that's the key thing that we've been working on. The things that we are looking at is bulk update. So great, this is stuff that's coming from the community, is very much this is what we want to do, is we come to here, how do I update all my test cases in one go? So obviously for me, I'm looking at these here. I want to update. So right now, if I need to update the type or the priority or whatever it may be, we're looking at quite an ongoing story here. It will be like the importer. I don't see it being. I'm really terrible with tabs. I might need to do a course on how to manage browser tabs these days. To tell you the truth, it's just been horrible with the way I have so many things open. Where was I? Here, right? So what was I looking at? Bulk update, yeah. So this, as you can see, if I open up this ticket, it has quite a fair bit of design that we're thinking of doing. So we know the user first off will come to Vansah. They'll open up Vansah. They'll come here. They'll come into this screen here. They can see their settings. They see import. They'll see bulk update. That's where everything is used. They're used to. Now these things as well, they're all driven by your permission that you have in a place in your project in Jira. So if you don't have the right permission in Jira, which is they refer to as I forget what it's called, then you won't be able to do this. That's the key thing I wanted to mention. Some technical issues in this release. And in the importing of test steps, so it's here. This is probably the next one. I think it was in this ticket. Well, that's what we're working on. So clearly, we're still tidying this up. I believe it's this one here. It is. There it is. Import test steps along with the test case. So that's the kind of like the priority for us is data, bulk update, import test steps. These are the things, because we know it's important that when you're ready to switch and move over, you want to then ensure that you work on fixing up your data, setting it all up. You can do it. You can be confident in a much more stable solution. So look, for everyone's, for me, that's it for me. Has anyone got any feedback or anything you'd like to share? Please let me know. I'm going to stop sharing my screen.